I'm Med.
I'm Charlie.
And today we're going to be talking about Mr. West himself.
Boo.
You really hate him.
I really hate him.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's literally a gross human being and I hate him. And he's ugly.
That's just me.
I strongly believe that if someone incites hate speech and is extremely possessive and toxic towards their partner, then you can call them ugly.
Do you think he's always been like that?
Yeah. I think that Kanye West, in one way or another, has always used fashion as a way to subjugate the women in his life. If you look at Kim, sorry to quickly, we're going to have a proper conversation about Kanye and everything that's been happened recently, but just to quickly jump in, Bianca Censori, obviously at the Grammys, it was a massive moment. Everyone was talking about her kind of in the nude with Kanye stood next to her and kind of what it meant for them as a couple. And it kind of felt like the pinnacle of all of the stunts that they've been doing over the past few years in public. And what a lot of people were saying on Twitter was that if you look at Kanye's previous relationships...
as well, I was holding it in.
Yeah. With Kim, he used to typically really not like it when she wore like provocative or promiscuous things. So it was a whole thing. I remember she posted, I want to say it was a photo on Instagram, in an outfit that was quite like sexy. And he said something to her. I don't know if it was in the
comments.
I don't know if it was like in a public forum, but it was on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know
okay.
It was definitely like in one of the episodes because she spoke about it.
Okay, yeah.
And basically it was something along the lines of, you're this type of woman, like you shouldn't be like looking like that on social media, like you paint yourself in such a bad way, like berating her basically for doing that. And then you fast forward to today and he basically is encouraging his wife to be completely naked. And I don't want this conversation to be like infantilizing Bianca. I'm not saying that like she doesn't have any autonomy over what she's doing. But it is interesting when you look back over the years about how there was another episode in Keeping Up with the Kardashians where basically Kanye went through Kim's entire wardrobe and was going like, no, yes, like deciding what she could keep and what she couldn't. And at the time, people kind of played it off like, oh, he's so loving. Like, look at the way that he like involves himself. Like, he's a genius. Kim was like, he's such a fashion genius. Like, he knows what he's doing, da-da-da-da. And then you look back at it now and you're like, that's weird, creepy, and controlling. Like, he wanted to be completely in charge of how she presented herself in public. And that, to me, feels possessive.
Yes, I can see that. But I do also feel like there's an aspect of Bianca just kind of being like, this is what I do. This is how I wear stuff. You either like it or you don't. And if he likes her or loves her and they married, and who's he to say something different? But also I agree that he does really want to be seen as fashion Kanye. And I think during the time of Keeping Up with the K's, he was really trying to push him that angle to come out. But I don't think that I can take too much as factual on the show because obviously it's a produced show. Do you know what I mean? He's probably had influence in the show to be like, I'm gonna say this so it seems like I'm doing this, and she's probably saying another thing to promote him in that way. Do you know what I mean?
I think I would understand that if it were a case of there was a very specific narrative as to who Kanye was as Kim's husband throughout the show, but there were lots of times where it was like really positive, as in like in that episode, he wasn't portrayed in a bad way specifically with going through her wardrobe. Obviously in the other time when it was him berating her about his outfit, but as in it's more the fact that people are now looking back at the show and thinking that moment that maybe was played off as quite like loving and funny actually reads now as quite controlling.
I just think it's all a stunt. So
you think it's all for publicity?
I think it's all for publicity. I think that he is unhinged. I think that he is a little bit cuckoo.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of it is calculated because, like I mentioned before, he's got a new album coming out, so he wants to be in the news. He's posting about the fact that Bianca's the most searched woman in the internet. He obviously has a motive behind it, you know? So going back to what he does and all that stuff, I do think it's very planned, and I think sometimes it's a little bit kind of like excessive. Like the stuff he puts on X and social media, he's an idiot. Like he does that knowing that it's fucking horrible, but he's doing it for a purpose.
So you don't think that he believes any of the stuff that he says?
I think he probably, I think he believes it a little bit. Like all the stuff that he's been saying on X, right? I think he does believe that, but only because the people that have gone through him have been in that circle, if that makes sense. And he's just saying it out loud because he knows that no one will do anything. He was banned on X, and then now he come on because Elon was like, oh, freedom of speech. And he's taken it too far, as if he's testing to see how far he can go and how freedom of speech really is, how much freedom of speech you actually do get. The Grammys, for example, he wanted to see how far he can take it with like the whole sort of Bianca thing. But my thing is that Bianca's always been like that, and it's probably been a case of like there's a dress code that you need to have. But then Kanye's like, why have I got to listen to you?
But so you still don't think that that's like that in and of itself? You're talking about it like, again, it's Kanye's decision. Look at the way that you just said that in respect of like, oh, well, if there's a dress code and Kanye's like, well, why would I listen to that? Then that's about what Kanye wants her to do, not about what she wants to do.
No, it's about what she wants to do in a way of like, Kanye's like, we're going to go to the Grammys, wear what you want.
But how do you know that it was fully her decision?
What, to wear that outfit?
Yeah.
Because I've seen other outfits she's worn which were similar before she was with Kanye.
I don't really get the whole argument about like, well, Bianca's always dressed like that. Because before, when she was dressing like that, again, it was fully like her decision. Nowadays, it looks as though he uses her as an ornament and he uses her as a way, even that when you say about like promoting Yeezy, right? So putting all that stuff on his Instagram about like, look at like, she's the most Googled person on the internet and look at what she's wearing, Yeezy. To me, that's gross. Like, that's your wife.
I don't think she's wearing Yeezy though.
He said he was like...
That was a Yeezy outfit?
Yeah.
Was it?
Sorry, not that what she was wearing on the carpet. It was a photo of her and he was like, this is the most Googled person on the planet.
Yeah.
And then he posted a photo of her in a Yeezy outfit and was like, and look at now what she's wearing. As if to be like...
Well, this is what I mean by promoting. So he puts out this crazy stuff. She's the most searched person while Kanye's being searched up by millions of people. All of a sudden, he plugs himself in because that's what gets pushed out again.
You can't look at the fashion moments without looking at who Kanye is, the fact that he's been accused of multiple sexual harassment and assault allegations, that he was physically aggressive towards a woman, sexually aggressive towards a woman. When you know that about someone, you look at those moments in a much different light. If he was a guy that had never had any sexual allegations against him, I probably would be less wanting to maybe, you could argue, infantilize Bianca and be like, she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, look at her. Because like everyone on Twitter being like, look at her and her eyes, she looks terrified. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I do think that that's jumping a bit. Like she might have just been like wanting to pose a bit like a particular way. But when you know what you know about him and what he's done and how he's treated women, of course you're then going to jump to, and now look how he's being with his wife. There's potentially something dodge going on in the background.
Has Kim said anything about? I'm just asking because I don't know. Has Kim ever said?
I don't think that Kim's ever accused him of any form of sexual harassment. Not that I'm aware of.
No, okay.
But I would also probably argue that she probably wouldn't because of their kids. She probably wouldn't want to do that because she wouldn't want the kids to know. I know what you mean, and I understand what you're saying in respect of like that she had that past. I'm not saying that she went from being fucking Nancy Drew to like Nancy hoo-ha.
I just think she's a smart woman. And again, I don't want to sound like...
But it could be both though. Like women don't have to be like weak and fragile to be coerced.
I know that. But I just think that sometimes people are giving Kanye too much credit. Surely everyone knows he's unhinged, right? But coincidentally, every time he has an episode, he's releasing something new. Like if it's clothes, if it's music. So...
But that doesn't switch the fact that he could again be then using her coercively to promote things. Yeah.
No, I hear that.
I just think like when you look at them and you look at all of the stuff that they do, like even the Venice thing, when they got basically banned from the area because of what was going on in that gondola, which, can I just say, there was nothing grosser than seeing the top of his bare ass poking out from that suit jacket. Oh my God, I was literally repulsed. There have been a lot of moments that have happened in public that have felt very much like he is using her as a pet, as an accessory, as something to put on show to bring in headlines. Whether or not she's in, this is the thing, whether or not she's in on the plan, it still feels weird. Let's say she is on the plan. I would like to sit down and have a conversation with her and go, Bianca, let's talk about it. Like, what's going on? And I'm not pulling out the whole like, I'm a woman. But as a woman, I do think that you look at those types of situations from a different lens than a man would.
No, of course. And I can appreciate that and understand it.
But like, you're wrong.
But like, you're wrong. No. But like,
this is also, to be fair, I will say this is coming from, I've never ever been a Kanye fan, ever.
you should watch the documentary. No,
I'd much rather watch a documentary about SeaWorld than about him. What's it about?
Kanye West.
Yeah, but like, about what period of his life?
The beginning, from him being a kid in Chicago to him trying to plug himself with all these artists, to him getting in the car crash, to him releasing his first album, to then him meeting Jay-Z and Pharrell, and then him kind of working his way up to where he kind of is, to his marriage to Kim. I think you'd really enjoy it. You'd probably hate watch, but I think hate watch, because it'll be really interesting to see what you think. And it's on Netflix, and it's a really good insight of like his life and stuff. And I'm not saying, oh, you understand him when you watch it. No, but I just think it's a good understanding of his mindset and how he is very outspoken, and he's like, he does things on the whim. Is that how you say it? On the whim?
Like impulsive.
Very impulsive. I'm surprised he's not got an album called fucking Impulse. But yeah, if you'd get a chance, watch it.
We need to talk about the Super Bowl.
One thing that made me laugh while the Super Bowl was on was Kanye West's
Go
advert.
Birds!
Eagles.
Yeah, they say
is that
go
it?
birds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because eagle is a bird.
Yeah, right. But the commercial Kanye did
Okay.
cracked me up.
What was the commercial?
It was him sitting on a dentist chair.
Right.
And he's like leaning back. Think Joker from the Batman. Right?
Okay.
You know when he does the clip and he's like, hey, Batman. Anyway,
Yeah. What was the commercial for?
Yeezy. So I
I thought you were going to be like, it's for like a dental practice.
No. He sat on the chair and it's just filmed on his iPhone, and he's like, obviously like all injected up because you can still hear him speak.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I spent all my money on these new teeth, but I thought that I'll put this advert in. So yeah, go on Yeezy.com and buy my new stuff. Thanks. That's it.
I just don't understand how someone who said the things that he can even gets a commercial at the Super Bowl.
Because it's all a business.